Flight Boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Terry's Moon, Flight Boss, the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now I want to talk about holding things in create auras. Because a lot of people don't know why they have auras. See, holding things in create auras. So just think about how much things you hold in. See, things you hold in, keyword in, internal, so it's inside. So you're going to hold things in, and when you hold it in, things can become condensed inside to the fact that it becomes ice. Now, things that you hold in, you have to correlate it to fluid because it's correlated to vibrations, emotions, feelings, movement, motion, your experience, your time, your experience, your soul. So all things tied to fluid, this is what you have to correlate that with, the experience. So when we talk about holding things in, the longer you hold something in one spot, it could become in that just being in one spot, being in one area, you being able to always go back to that world, always go back to that experience because you're holding it in one specific void spot. Now, if you let it get cold, right, it could turn into ice. So once you let something get cold and turn into ice, it becomes frozen. Now frozen detaches itself. So if it's not melting, it's a separate entity now based upon the ice that's not melted. You see? So right here, it can understand where it's at, but it's going to feel separate. So this makes a person feel like they need to brood or feel separate or things of that nature. So this is also for all my water signs. You need to understand not to hold things in. This is what you can learn from the fire signs. See, y'all right brain. So the way y'all both are fillers, but the way y'all feel is in two different ways. Fire feeling in yang way, water feeling in yin way. So, you know, fires is more expressive, water is more inside. They more condense more. They go within more. They like to understand and see the circumstance of this world and experience it before they want to express it. Fire wants to detach and separate from it and express it. So they're both feeling. They just you have one that's an expressive filler and you have one that's a reserve filler. And so once you see the water, you know water that's going within. So all that is holding in. Fire is letting all of it out. You see what I'm saying? So it's a gift and a curse to both of those ways of doing it. You see what I'm saying? It's a gift and a curse. So, but we're not gonna get into that because this video is just about period holding things in, and water signs may have a problem with doing this. And you know, earth signs also, because y'all left brain, but y'all yin also, so y'all can hold a lot of things in from a practical way. Things that don't make sense to y'all, or someone who presenting something in y'all life to y'all that don't make sense, but you like, why does person keep bringing this into my life? This becomes something that y'all hold in, and anytime something is held in, it can become an explosion, or it can become, and if it's not an explosion, it becomes a burden on that person. It becomes something that person has to live with, something that person is always carrying, a burden. And if it becomes very heavy, it could drag you down into certain, and then once it drag you down physically, in the physical realm, in the spirit realm, it'll drag you down spiritually. And how it do that in the spirit realm, going down in the spirit realm is just doing things in patterns. Keep doing the same thing, not changing, switching up. Keep doing the same pattern over and over again. And whatever kind of days pattern that is that you keep constantly doing every day, then that's going to be the kind of hell that you keep creating for yourself. But for the most part, when we want to talk about holding things in, now when we talk about holding things in, is on a grand scale, it's more detriment to you, because see, here's the thing, here's how you separate it. When you're feeling positive and you're happy, a lot of times that's not something you can hold in. People don't hold in happiness. People know when other people happy. People know when other people say you've been in a fucked up mood, but you just got a call from a job you always wanted, or you just got that check you always wanted, or you just got something, right? You get happy. All the petty shit you don't give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Even somebody you was beefing with, you would call them and be like, man, I don't want to beef with you no more, man. I got other shit I'm thinking about. You see what I'm saying? So these happy feelings and things of that nature is shit that you can't really hold on to. So we know the North Node and new experiences and uncomfortability, these are things you can't hold on to. So these are things that you're supposed to go into and learn how to hold on to these things, because these are things you can't, but they're new experiences, right? So these are things you have to express, because they're those type of feelings. So it's correlated to lightness, upbeatness, going up. You see what I'm saying? Rising above, uplifting type of vibrations. So those are really, it's hard to hold those in, and it may even hurt you to hold those in. Say you was in a loving relationship, or you went, or if you was a kid and you went to Disney World, and then now you got out of that relationship as an adult, and then you went home as a kid from Disney World. The stronger that you want to experience that again could become a burden, because you won't be able to experience that, but you remember that experience. So you're trying to hold in that happiness, but you don't got that happiness no more. So to hold that in, it end up becoming negative, and it end up becoming a burden. And then this is the first form, before it becomes ice, and before you separate yourself from that, to the point that if it becomes ice and you end up becoming separate so much, you end up cutting off all experiences of trying to get into any kind of relationship like that again. You know what I'm saying? Then you end up missing someone who could have came into your life and actually do something. But you know, you got to be careful. Now let's actually get into this. Now holding things in. Now this is why 9 times out of 10, whatever you're holding in is on the negative end. Because it's stuff that impacts you, but it's something that you don't actually want to release, or it could play out in something that you didn't get a chance to release. AKA, you ever had somebody play you, and then you went home, and then it start to upset you because you didn't play out the circumstance or situation that you, in the way that you wanted to, or in the way that you thought it should have been played out, because you had more time to think about it on your way going home. Boom. That's how it happens in that perspective. Then the first perspective, as I just explained, it could come to you in ways of you. Now that's a regret. The first one was a regret. The second one, it could play out as in ways of you not getting what you want, or something not going in your way, or you going through a certain experience, or you haven't developed something happening to you, or something not going your way, something that just develop on you and they give you a wrong taste. It could be a person, place, or thing that's around you that give you a bad taste, right? And it fucks with your spirit. So it gives you certain ideas to drain and start to fuck with your soul. So now you start to have certain emotions and feelings about certain things, and these emotions and feelings is what tap you into, is just what create worlds. Because that idea is the seed, and then that seed is the void, and the void in the water is that seed getting planted. So whatever seed got helped, whatever seed that got formulated and helped to get formulated by whoever other spirits that was around you, other people, right? That's going to give you certain emotions and feelings. Now, on the negative end, you hold these in. You see what I'm saying? So, for the most part, when you holding it in and you don't express it, now, these are things that people can't see. But your spirit is in that realm. Like I said, you already have a spirit. Your spirit is not something that you die and become. You see what I'm saying? Your spirit was born before your physical body, even before your soul body. Your spirit got control of your individual self, which is your soul. A soul ain't nothing but an individual spirit. As a spirit, right, you're traveling with a collective conscious. You're traveling, and relative to them y'all can go into my video how you got here. But then also how you start to perceive that travel as yourself, that becomes your own individual perspective of it. You're now a soul. You have your own experience of it. Your own experience. You're not being led astray based upon just frequencies. You have your own vibration and experience of it. Right now you need to find a body. So you have to take your source. Your spirit is creating your soul, and y'all are emitting a source through these travels and creating friction with sources that been there that preceded you, and through that friction emits light, but that light creates sound. Your traveling was the sound, but that friction was the sounds, and then that create light. Then light takes form, then that goes into density, and then that creates a body. So throughout that friction, orbs of bodies get created. This is where you get the physical realm, the matter realm. See, that come from the vibrational realm. The vibrational realm come from the frequency realm. You see what I'm saying? But they are connected, but they are not in the same interchangeable. You see what I'm saying? This is why you're able to perceive it that way, or it wouldn't be perceived that way. Now, for the most part, in the physical, your soul has to take a body. You see what I'm saying? So you have to create a body. Now, and then when you get in this world, you start to create a body over this body. Then you create a fourth dimensional body. This is the third dimensional body. You create a fifth dimensional body, a sixth. So then you'll start to realize that the shit that you're seeing up there is mere lights and reflections and bodies. You see what I'm saying? But it could be a automatic simulation. It could be like it could be mirror. It could be whatever you think. But whatever caused reflection, that's what it is. Now, for the and reflections can become densities. So reflections is a spot in the room. When you look at a reflection, right? You can see a shadow, right? A shadow and a reflection to something. It's just like one and the same, right? It's always pinned down on a surface. It's never in reality itself. So that's how you have to look at everything. But for the most part, based upon your perspective and what's relative to you and what corner you're in, that's how things is perceived. So it is a reality to it. So the physical realm is experiencing the reality of it. You see what I'm saying? This is a whole separate creation that was built. A reality of something that's shapeless, formless, non-flammable. But the shapeless, formless created the reality. You see what I'm saying? It didn't become the reality. So for the most part, it's this deep spiritual knowledge people have to understand. But for the most part, when we talk about holding things in, now things that's not being expressed, when you go out into the world, right? Now your people's spirits sense this. They sense it. So, for an example, since it's not a happy feeling, it's not something you expressing, it might be a resentment you holding against me, or something I may have said or done, whatever like that, but you holding it in. So I don't see it. I don't see the shape or form or the examples of it, right? But I feel it. Well, I sense it. So I'll be able to be like, man, I don't think this person like me or something like that. I'll be able to sense it because the thoughts and the ideas and the feelings and emotions that you hold in, since you're not expressing it, it builds your aura. So in little ways, it dictates your actions and the way you act in a very subtle way. Right? Because this is what your mind and your feelings and emotions on. So that's the world that you in. So the world that you in, you're going to go walk along those paths. If you stumble, if you walk across the street or whatever like that, you're going to go in the ways of those world. Now, you may be around somebody who's not in that world. So your way of walking that you may think is right or wrong or whatever like that to what you're doing is way different to the person you are around. So the stuff that you're holding in and the stuff that you think you need to do is right or wrong, and the paths and the streets that you're crossing in that world, like if it was this world, but it's your own inner world that you're traveling, it's kind of dictating how you're walking in this world. It may be real, you're going to pick up, the person you're around going to pick that up spiritually and be like, oh man, I don't know, it's something ain't right about this person. This person weird, or this person is something about this person, or this person is you know what I'm saying, something, or this person just don't like me, or something ain't right, or this person hiding something, and you may not be hiding anything or whatever like that. That's in reality, but you are hiding something spiritually, and that's your way of thoughts or how you feel about a circumstance or a person. So you need to keep that in mind, that you're not a type of person, or you're not a water sign or earth sign that's holding too much resentment or holding too much things in, because holding things in can become a burden and they can explode, and you don't want to explode on anybody or explode on a situation or circumstance, because that's never handling a situation right. Look at all explosions. When elements explode, it never takes shape and form. It's always chaos. And this is the problem scientists always have. So just think about you as an element. You are an element. The moment you get ready to explode, you are exploding. So just think about all the elements that's around you. Things are exploding. Things ain't taking no shape and form. So you have the possibility of burning bridges between the people in your life. You know what I'm saying? You share possibilities of taking things out of proportion, taking things way too far, being way too much in your feelings, coming across in negative ways, taking things too personal, and diving too deep when things ain't even that deep and things are surface level. And all these are things that you won't be able to see with clairvoyance, because you're that down and all that mugginess. You see what I'm saying? So it's very important not to be holding things in. So, and I already told you how to decipher that you're not going to be holding too many positive feelings in. Like the positive feelings you hold, it's going to be like disappearing little by little, and the more you try to add energy to it and make it bigger, it's going to become depressing when you can't actually experience that. So the only things you really truly be holding in is negative things. So you have to keep that in mind. When you've been crossed over in business, you hold that in. When you've been crossed over in a relationship, you hold that in. When somebody's trying to play you, you hold that in. When somebody's trying to hold you back, whether it's your relationship, siblings, or family members, or parents or grandparents, you hold that in. So you have a certain resentment. Now, not to say this is a strong energy. So now you could go to these worlds to help you sometimes, because going to these worlds, you can get sensu beings there, and certain ritual and certain spirits that teach you kung fu there. And what I mean by that is, when you go in that world, it's certain things that can teach you aggression, certain passion, certain motivation tactics, to the point that when you play it out in this world, it play as an excellent elemental energy, forceful backing and support. Like, it play as an excellent support system. You know what I'm saying? Because you can use all that to get into where you need to go. Just think about it. You might be a person that you might be around family and friends that always think you ain't shit. Always think you ain't gonna accomplish nothing. So you built resentment. Now, it ain't the type of resentment like you saying fuck them and I don't care about them. But it's just the resentment that you always held that in. You always like, man, this person don't think I ain't shit or whatever like that. That's the feeling you always can go to. And spirits there in that world, there's certain places you could go, certain stores you could get ammunition, they could get straps and shit, get all kind of shit in that fucking world, and utilize all that ammunition and fucking go to war here and accomplish all your fucking goals. You will have all the power and the backing and the support by spirits you may got introduced to and learned from there and shit like that, because you are a spirit too. You communicating with spirits that got bodies in other realms of realities. You know, everybody got bodies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Spirit searching for bodies. A spirit that truly ain't got no body is just a lost, maybe a ghost, and they in search for a body. But that's what we here to do. It's not a right or wrong thing about it. That's what spirits do. So they don't scatter in the astral realm as a soul. You see what I'm saying? Because to become an individual is to have a soul. But if you don't find no body, you're gonna scatter off and become back with just the spirit again, and not know yourself and have to be a follower until you become an individual again. And learn how to do that based upon who you're traveling with as a spirit, based upon who you're relative to, where you're at, and you see what I'm saying. And this is going to determine if you be female, because you wasn't always female, you wasn't always male. I'm gonna do a video on that too, how to know what you was in the previous life. Like me, like, this is not a gay or thing like that, or you playing out these attributes now. No, this reality to certain things you have to understand. Like me, I'm not gay at all, at no point of view, circumstance, or situation. But I could understand in the previous life I was a female. I was a female in the previous life. You see what I'm saying? And I'm going to do a video on this, and it's going to make sense to y'all so you can understand. Like, you might be a male, but you might have been a male in a previous life also. Or you may have been an animal or whatever like that. But I'm talking about strictly male or female. Or hermaphrodite. You may be a female now. You may have still been a female in a previous life. And you may have been a male before that life. But I'm going to speak just specifically on the life you was before this one. But yeah, you know, just go in there. But if you're a female now, you probably could have been a male. You know what I'm saying? If you're a male now, you could have been a female. But look, like, let me say for this before I close this video, holding things in. Now, holding things in, right? These are energy. These are frequency, vibrations, and energy. So whatever ideas and feelings and emotions there is consist of certain energies. So when you carrying that, right, people's spirit picks up those energies. So if you carrying around deep, negative, harshful ideas and feelings about somebody or things of that nature, or say if you're a pervert, this is why they look creepy in public. You ever seen them old creepy motherfuckers that sit around and rub their hands and sit in one spot all day, and they look like they just watching all the asses walk past all day at the bus stop and shit like that, the old perverts or shit like that. Now, they may not be perverts or anything of that nature, but this might be the type of shit that's on their mind. So your spirit just pick it up like, man, something ain't right about this motherfucker at the bus station every day, or just or on the corner every day, or in front of the gas station every day. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, it's like it goes very deep when you're holding things in and not being expressive. You know what I'm saying? You gotta let people know what you're about, but there's certain things you have to hold in also. You know what I'm saying? So you could be socially aware of what's actually going on, and you don't have, and you can separate yourself from that realm and be able to know when to jump rope in and when to jump rope out to keep yourself preserved. But be careful what you're holding in, and you will know, you're around other people who hold a lot of stuff in too when you start to feel all this impact from them. You know what I'm saying, based upon their words and what they're saying and how much they feel about what they're saying and stuff. You start to feel like, oh, this person hold a lot of shit in. So this person got a lot of burdens. And a lot of times a lot of burdens play out into a lot of experiences, and a lot of experiences play out into a lot of patterns, which aka 9 times out of 10 gonna play out into some type of hellistic lifestyle, to the point that you always frustrated and upset about something in some way, shape, or form. Flight boss, bitch, goddamn air, lighten up.